Chris.
Yo.
And we actually have two guests with us today, like we promised. So from Brookroyal, Jack and Bonner with us.
Oh, what up?
Hey, everybody.
So obviously we're doing this via Zoom. We're being very socially distanced since Chris is quarantined currently. So
I got the Rona.
Yeah,
Chris
so we
is
can't
trying to kill us.
do it in person like we were originally planned, but it'll all work out. So do our usual 2020-21, technically 2021 Blues preview. So we're going to start from the playoffs last year through today.
Do we
with
have
all the news
to?
that happened today. We have a bunch of guys on waivers. Half the NHL is on waivers today, apparently.
No.
So,
yeah, almost cussed. Yeah, no crap.
So you're fine.
Everyone got put on waivers today.
Yeah, so everybody was on waivers today. The Blues finally made a signing official, which we pretty much knew was happening. And also, quietly, a retirement happened that we pretty much knew was going to happen. So,
yeah,
a lot of different news today. And also, going to talk to the guys about their latest single, We Wait for Brookroyal, and what they got planned for, hopefully, the coming year when we can get back to going to concerts and having fun again. So,
right.
First off, well, let's get to the Blues preview, and then we'll get into like some question and answers after that with the guys. So we'll start from the beginning. Blues last year, after getting into the bubble, didn't turn out the way they wanted. Round robin did not go the way they wanted. 0-3-1, not great. And then a first round loss to pretty much the upstart Vancouver Canucks, a young team, but lost in 6 games. The Blues pretty much didn't look prepared. I mean, we can all agree on that, right?
I think
Agreed.
the proper hockey term for how the Blues looked in the bubble was hot garbage.
Yeah. They had turkey stomach.
Yeah. It was pretty bad. So, and kind of a year of turnover. So kind of a new era, end of an era, beginning of an era. That seems to be the case this year. Kind of after I compare it to when Backus left. After Backus left, It kind of was kind of a new kind of turnover to a new kind of set of guys. It seems that's happening now. We had a time when Backus, and it was kind of the Backus-Oshie kind of era. And then Oshie was traded. Backus left free agency. They kind of turned up Pietrangelo, Steen, Tarasenko, and that turned out pretty well, obviously, with the Stanley Cup victory in 2019. And now, so first we'll do our losses. So first, the big one, captain, Alex Pietrangelo. Signs with Vegas.
Dead to me now.
I know everybody was kind of hoping that would work out. It didn't seem to exactly go the Blues' way.
No, I really wanted him to stay, honestly, because I wanted him to have a statue out there.
Yeah, I thought that'd be the lure, but it didn't.
I wanted him to stay too, but I had a feeling when that deal didn't get done, especially when they had that long break before the bubble, when there was nothing else to do but negotiate a contract. When it didn't get done then, I had a feeling that it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah, but thank God we have Doug Armstrong, because he was like, well, I guess I'm not going to sit around and wait. I'll just go get a pretty awesome replacement.
Agreed. And I think that is the silver lining in all this is it's been shown numerous times now. I think you could even point to the Falk trade as part of that. Was Armstrong wasn't going to sit by and get held hostage by Pietrangelo. He made the deal for Falk during the season, which I think was the shot across the bow for Petro.
Yeah.
And he did what I think any GM needed to do, which was when free agent day came around, he made the call to Petro's agent. They, were hemming and hawing. There were 3 guys on the market. And when the first one got signed by Toronto, then Armstrong pulled the trigger on Krug, which I think any GM worth his salt has to do. You have to protect your team.
Yep.
You can't really deny that Army's done a fantastic job. But I mean, also,
sure.
did you see Petro's? Did you see pictures of his house in Vegas? I was like, all right,
dude.
man, I get it. Like,
he's got like 17 kids. He needs that much room.
Yeah.
It was like, it's I guess watch your toes. Chris Mason once told me when he got traded because he had just built a house here. He's like, yeah, that's sports, no big deal. Like, just see you later. Let's go.
I kind of wonder how many pro athletes sell their houses to each other.
I don't. Somebody
that would make sense.
Wasn't Krug? I remember reading he was actually looking at one of the houses he looked at when he was here doing house hunting was Petrangelo's house.
Was it really? I don't doubt it.
Yeah,
probably. I think the only one that got screwed on that was Tarasenko, who built up his house in the way out of the market of where he lived, and like nobody could afford to live there because he added like $3 million into it.
Is he still trying to sell the place in the
I don't know. I saw it in the Riverfront Times.
I remember for a while I saw him.
I know everyone was freaking out when he put his house on the market.
Yeah, it's like he'll be fine. He's just moving around. He can do that. He's got enough cash to do whatever he really wants. So
he's got a couple of bucks.
Yeah. So we'll continue with the losses here. So the Blues traded Jake Allen, which was kind of pretty much the early part of everything we thought was freeing up cap space for.
Are we putting that under a loss?
Huh?
Are we putting that under a loss?
Well, he's off the team. I was supposed to say loss. So off the team, got a couple of draft picks, got him off the cap hit off. Blues lose a pair of I say St. Louis Blues stalwarts. They've been around for quite some time. Alexander Steen, we heard kind of rumors that he wasn't doing well after the bubble. He didn't really make it through the playoffs. He didn't even play. He barely made it through the round robin. And he officially retired right before training camp started. 5.75 cap comes off, which is nice.
Pretty awesome.
Bud Steen, a lot of good memories. Anybody get favorite Steen memory?
Oh, man, I have too many to count. I love that dude. I remember reading about it in the paper. I was like, we give Stepniak for Thomas Steen's kid and Kolyakovo. Yeah. I don't know who Kolyakovo is. That's got to be cool, right?
What was the game that he did where his dad was there, or they were like honoring him or something like that, and his kid like was out there or something. He's like splashing water in his face because like, damn man, it is getting dusty in here. Like I can't remember what it was, but I
think it was his 1000th game. I think
is that what it was?
Year,
okay, yeah, because I mean it was so cool. Sense. Like I love that they, I mean just every aspect of the game when they do things like that, it's just so cool.
Yeah,
my two Steen memories are the triple overtime goal versus
I was
Chicago.
there.
I was there too.
Of course you were.
And then the overtime against Quick.
Yep.
I was there.
I was in Austin, Texas, and I had to beg. I had to beg the bar to stay open because it went into overtime like at last call, and I was like, for the love of God, stay open. I was like, whatever you need me to do, and I was in like all my Blues gear. And they stayed open, and when the Blues scored, the bartenders and I like basically opened up a bottle and like killed it, and then they're like, "All right, drive home now that you're drunk." Thanks, Texas.
Was that the series? Was that the series when Quick in warm-ups ended up like pulling his groin or something, and there was kind of like not knowing if he was going to be able to play? Was that series?
That series of the year after.
Was it okay?
Yeah,
because
we played back to back.
14 or whatever it was. Whatever it was the year that they won the cup.
They won in
14.
They won in 12 and 14.
Yeah. I think it was 14 is the year that the Quick thing happened.
For the record, I still don't like Dustin Brown, so I'm just
that's true.
No,
nobody does.
Not at all.
Sorry.
And by the way, because you mentioned him in part of the trade, let's not forget the greatest Blues gift of all time.
Yes,
Carlo Kolyakovo against Detroit.
So great.
Oh, that's the best. But yeah, I was at the double overtime or the shorthanded Alex Steen versus Kings goal. I was there with D Hall.
That was a great game.
I lucked out. I was Darren's date. And
nice.
Yep.
I've been his date a couple times too.
Hey, me too. Pretty much that's the only way I'm going to a game. Everybody likes to take me. I was like, all right.
All right. I'll do a small side tangent before we continue. But there was a time when it had to be maybe the year Oshie was a rookie or maybe the year after is when the Blues started their rise and whatever. And there was a time when me and Chris were, we just hanging out. Maybe our first couple of years we were kind of hanging out.
Yeah.
And I was telling oh yeah, like I said something. I think it was maybe when there was a time one of the singles that you guys just released is on there. And I was saying, man, I really dig that song. And they're like, oh yeah, Bond's at the game right now. And I'm like, oh, that's cool. And then literally we were at DiBolito's. Do you remember this, Chris?
Yeah.
I look on the screen, I'm like, hey, there's Bond. And then there was a streak of like 5 games in a row where you made it on TV, and I'm like, oh, there's Bond. And that was like the game I started playing for a while, where it's like, all right, will I see
Take
Bond?
Take a drink when you see Bond. Yeah, there you go.
Oh wait, here we go. Hit play on it. Dude, but that's funny you mentioned that, Jason. I was just talking to someone about that.
Sorry,
like,
Chris.
I was like, I was on TV. I've never been on TV or anything like that, and for whatever reason, like the first, like I was on the games like 3 times in a row, and I coincidentally I had taken other female friends that were just literally just friends like that, and then I get a message from my mom being like, how many girlfriends do you have? And I was like, what are you talking about? She's like, you've been on TV like every night. And then lo and behold, I ended up finding out I knew through somebody else, one of the camera guys, and they were like, oh, we just always saw you on there, so we just thought it'd be funny to put you up
That's
there.
funny.
So the Silent Bob thing came up.
Yeah.
They did the lookalike thing, and they
the
Silent
celebrity
Bob,
lookalike.
and looking like
Silent Bob.
Oh,
That's
so good.
amazing.
Yeah, but that was a little game we had for a while there, where I was like almost like every game where we saw you, we were like, that's an away game. Wait, there's Bond in Nashville, so it doesn't. So it was
That
like,
did
it didn't even matter
happen
if it was
too.
a home game or away game. So it was funny. So I had to throw that in there since you're bringing that up. So
That's funny.
one
collect the
more
Bond discount,
retirement
man.
that was basically made official literally earlier today. We're recording on the 11th of January here. Jay Bomeister made it official, kind of, through an article on The Athletic, saying he's officially retired. In the article, he said, yeah, I knew after it happened I was done. So just
did
didn't
everybody
want to,
else.
like, announce it, which obviously it was 11 months to today. It was February 11th of last year.
Yeah.
Was it that long ago?
Yeah.
That was one of the scariest things I've ever seen in a
Oh,
game.
man.
Yeah,
Like,
it
I
was.
mean, it shook me up. Like, I saw him, like the video of him drop, and I was just like, oh my God. Like,
Yeah.
I can't even like imagine how these guys, thank God they were so cool about it. That they're just like, we got to stop. We can't have our boy just have this happen. Like,
Yeah, and
That's some
luckily
crazy
with all the
stuff.
Blues trainers and doctors that were there, they were
thank
on
God.
it. And he's even said, wasn't for the trainers that were there, he probably wouldn't have made it. So,
It's unbelievable.
so
And on the dad's trip too.
yeah,
Yes,
which
it
is
was.
crazy. Yeah, and
Awful.
17 seasons, most of them with the Blues. He had Florida, Calgary, and the Blues. One of only, I think I have it marked as 11 players to win a Stanley Cup, a World Juniors gold medal, a Olympic gold medal, World Championship gold, and yeah, those 4 things. First place, and he was basically on Team Canada almost every year when he was in his prime. So him and Petro got teamed up a couple of times, but he was a stalwart for a long time and won a lot of different championships, first overall, seconds overall. So kind of a underrated career. Let's say Hall of Famer.
Oh yeah.
I think so. I thought it was so
cool.
Because he won, what do they call it? The triple gold championship, whatever.
Triple
Petro
gold.
gave it to him right away, and I was like, "What did you do that? Oh, holy crap! I didn't realize that he is one of only like so many players that have done that, and that which is, why Petro handed it to him first. So
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, he had 1,300 games under his belt.
well, that's true too.
The thing that's saddest for me when you talk about J-Bo is, I think the few years before the Blues won the Cup, he was kind of becoming the new scapegoat for when things went bad on defense. You blame Jay Bomeister.
he was the
I'm
brewer.
guilty of it.
But
I'm
he
guilty of
really
it.
turned it around.
Yeah.
He did.
Dude,
The
I think he was hurt.
Yeah.
He was like he played how many games in a row where he had not missed a sick or he'd never been sick,
Right.
and then he got hurt, and I think it kind of messed with him because he was never used to like dealing with that, and then suddenly I don't know who it was, or if it was just him or Berube or just Petro or the team or whatever, just decided, you know what, I'm a veteran here. I can bounce back. I'm a goddamn hockey player. Like I should be able to do this. And he did, and I think because of that, it made Perienko better and the whole team better.
His playoff run the year that we won the Cup was outstanding. And he was
him and
fantastic
Perienko.
last year.
It was unbelievable.
You hate to see it get cut short because I think he may have had maybe 1 or 2 more years left, but
Probably.
I mean, as soon as that happened, I remember texting with Jason. I'm like, dude, just call it a career.
Yeah.
You have nothing left
dude.
to prove. Go be a dad.
You've legit peaked, and
he's-
you're only
he's had-
37. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
no.
had
so
had the
awesome.
haircut of a dad for 40 years. So
Yeah,
go use that haircut.
yeah.
On your children.
So did Shaddy
Go
when he
tell
came
bad
in.
jokes.
So,
Exactly.
yes, 2 guys, call it careers. well deserved, both Stanley Cup champions, which is nice to see. So a couple more on I say losses or things that are upcoming. Tarasenko still out technically. Hopefully reevaluated sometime in February. I expect to see him the second half of the season, probably, give or take. 3 surgeries in 3 years, so he's looking to bounce back. Obviously, Chris and I talked the last podcast about the whole him being upset about being a captain, which I think kind of was a little overblown. But
I didn't know if you wanted to bring that up or get into that, because I was gonna ask your opinions on. Well, I mean, I just kind of felt like, first of all, like, okay, there's a couple of things that I feel like it has to do with a captain. Is you're of course you're the face of the organization, and you really have to be able to do some of the PR type stuff that you have to do. Ryan O'Reilly is fantastic at it, and obviously, you know, Tarasenko's first language is not English and things like that, and he's been hurt a lot. So it seemed like Ryan O'Reilly was this all-American, greatest trade of the century, like, that just turned into something. So I was like, I was like, this is the obvious choice. Like, it has to be ROR. So I don't know. That was my opinion. I just thought that he was like, he's going to be great. He's a great human being. I've seen him, like, he cussed on air one time and immediately apologized because he was so excited. And, like, you know, I mean, he's just a good dude. And, like, watching his dad still makes his workouts and, you know, like, regime and stuff. And it's insane. Like, I couldn't do that in my prime in high school when I was 120 pounds of virgin. There's no way. Like, you know, it's just unbelievable to see.
Last year.
Yeah, last year. It's a long time ago.
So I mean, I think it was one of those things
I like that he cared. I agree with that.
I still think that it's a lot of ado about nothing when it comes to Tarasenko. I mean, was he probably bummed that he didn't get more consideration? Probably.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you look up and down the NHL, there's a lot of teams where the quote unquote best player isn't the captain. I mean, and you can even look at St. Louis, you know, the history of captains in St. Louis. It's not like the star has always been the captain. How many teams was Brett Hull on where he wasn't the captain? You know, he was the captain for a minute, but I mean, Garth Butcher over Brett Hull. I mean, I wouldn't call Garth Butcher an all-star by any means.
Pat Jablonski had the A.
Dude, can I tell
you know what I'm saying? Like,
can I tell like
that's true.
The greatest Hull story that I heard? Second, I can do it super fast.
Sure,
no, take it down. Go.
His very last season, what was he in Phoenix? Like, I'm buddies with Brett Hull's brother, Bart Hull. Name drop.
The guy who used to be with the Chill, correct?
Yeah. He's awesome.
He and I have stayed buddies ever since then. But every once in a while, you know, a couple beers in him, and he'd start telling stories about Bobby Hull and Brett Hull, and I was like, oh my god, they're amazing. But my favorite one of all time is, I guess, Hull in his last season. He's like, oh, my brother showed up to camp, all out of shape, and I guess they came at him. They're like, Hully, you're out of shape, and he goes, hey, round is a shape.
That's Brett.
That sounds like a Brett quote too.
Oh God, that picture.
So the best.
So I have family in Phoenix, and when he signed with the Coyotes, he only played like 8 games.
Yeah,
he had a couple games in.
I told my cousin, I was like, hey, see if you can get me a Hull jersey. And so she went down to whatever the hell the arena was at the time. It wasn't Gila River, but whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, hi, I'm looking for a Brett Hull jersey. And they're like, you can leave now. And like, just showed her the door.
What?
Jesus. They don't want money. They don't like money. They need money, as much money as they can in Arizona.
Yeah, no joke.
So.
That's all right. They got all my money like 3 years ago when I showed up. This is a great NHL story because I don't think any other league would do this. I took my inaugural style Coyotes jersey, the kind that they brought back this year.
Yes.
And I brought it there and I'm like, hi, do you guys do same day lettering? And they go, yeah, I sure do. And I threw it on the counter and they're like, well, we can't do that one. They're like, but you know, if you want to drop it off and, you know, come back and get it. I'm like, I don't live here, but like, well, we'll mail it to you. And I was like, word, you're going to mail it to me in St. Louis? She's like, yeah, we'll send it to the woman who actually does the actual stitching for the team uniforms. She's like, what name and number do you want to put on it? And
I know this one. Craig Janney.
Craig Janney, number 15. And sure enough, 3 weeks later, my jersey shows up in my mailbox, hand stitched with Janney's name and number on it.
I love it.
Good.
I love it.
Good. So I got the last thing on our losses column is once again the Blues don't have an AHL affiliate for the year. So they're one of the four teams that don't have an AHL affiliate. So they basically gained Springfield last year or the end of the bubble. They're not playing this year because Springfield is AHL teams are very dependent on people actually showing up. So with nobody showing up, Springfield obviously can't afford it. They're independently owned. The Blues don't own them, so not to make any money, so they shut it down. So some of the Blues prospects will lose another year of development and head to Utica to team with the Vancouver Canucks.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, I heard they shut that branch down in Dunder Mifflin.
Yeah, it must be not be a great place to live. So
the Scranton Strangler.
There you go. So the Blues. Well, we'll see who gets sent down. We have a list of guys on waivers today. Good clue on who's going down there. So, but we'll see. So we'll go phrasing on that too, by the way. So, I say gains or additions. We talked about it a little bit earlier. The big signing to replace, quote unquote, Alfredo Torrey Krug, which kind of came out of nowhere. So,
I would say
7 years, $45.5 million. Last year, he had 9 goals, 40 assists. In 61 games. Not too bad. You're a little undersized, but as we saw, Robert Thomas found out in the playoffs, he doesn't mind throwing his weight around.
Nope.
So what do you guys think of the Torrey Krug signing after technically didn't lose Pietrangelo yet, but you kind of saw the 1 foot out the door deal pretty much.
I think it's fantastic. I mean, definitely. I think it's been widely known just from some people that I've talked to that a lot of these guys want to come play for St. Louis. And I think they want to play for Chief and because Chief's one of the only coaches that would actually beat your ass. So it's, I mean, how he was able to get Pietrangelo or the whole locker room issue done, just knock it off and do it. I don't know, but it's, I don't know. I was happy to see it and it was good. I'm glad Army's not waiting around to get played. So let's go.
Yeah.
I'm sure
I would
got
agree.
some stuff.
We kind of said it earlier. I think the only thing you can ask from your GM is to do the best for the team. And I mean, if you're going to lose someone of the caliber of Pietrangelo, you filled in with the best available talent that you could get that same day. And that's Torrey Krug. And I think that it not only is a good move for the Blues, it hopefully opens up an avenue for Justin Falk to play his game more now that Petro's gone. And we desperately need that to happen because I think this is a year where Falk needs to either, pardon the expression, shit or get off the pot.
I don't mind seeing Boston losing all their defense too. So
no, I don't mind that at all.
Gone. I wasn't upset.
Boston has lost 2 of their top 4 defensemen, so they're going to be hurting this year to say the least. So,
and plus, Krug's
Mom, did you say anything about Krug?
Oh yeah, I was just gonna, power play monster. He quarterbacked the perfection line in Boston. I mean, that. I mean,
they're pretty good.
I know you're gonna get on to the next acquisition that we got, but the thought about Krug and Hoffman on our power play is hilariously awesome to me.
Did anyone see the one-timer from Hoffman last night at the end of the game?
Yes, of course I did. I just started laughing. Oh. It was great. I was like, oh my God, it's a genuine sniper. And to touch on what Jack said earlier, it's these players want to come here. That wasn't always the case. I mean, I remember when Tavares was the big name floating around there, everybody's like, no one wants Chris, you and I probably talked about it. Dude, he's not going to come to St. Louis. No one wants to come here. Yeah. Now it's kind of like how the Cardinals used to be. The Cardinals would be like, oh, hey, we need another bat. We'll just go get Matt Holliday and go win a championship. Oh, cool. The Blues can do that. And now they're like, hey, we need a right winger to take the place of, Vladdy. We're like, oh, we'll get Mike Hoffman, the best one that's available.
Winning definitely helps that. I think that having the Stanley Cup for sure, helps us land some of those names. But you're right. I think Berube is a large part of that. And that's no offense to Hitchcock or anyone before him. But Berube is for sure one of the boys. But he also knows his role and knows what your role is going to be and has no problems with telling you when you're getting out of line.
Yeah.
And, some players like that, some players don't. but I think you're seeing more and more in today's NHL that players don't mind being coached and corrected if it's done the right way and it's done by someone who they view as a peer and an elder.
Yeah, I think there's massive respect for Chief. Like they're like that's without question. Like even though he might have been a duster or whatever, but man, you can tell those guys give a crap about him. Like it's pretty. I mean, to look in his face when Maroon got that goal of like, basically the equivalent, like this duster hits this goal and all this stuff, and they're just like hugging it out like crazy. It's just like, like what a moment for like both of them to like see.
Chris, can I throw you and I both under the bus? Like I'm gonna get under that tire with you. So when I tell the story, you and I were sitting backstage at the pageant, maybe story of the year, I think. Okay. And this is obviously before we won the cup. Whatever, but I remember they had just fired Yo, and we were sitting there. Maybe it was someone else's show, but I remember you and I talking. You're like, "What do you think about it?" I go, "Oh man, you know what? I don't know. He's just a replacement. We're gonna get someone else." And you said in a verbatim, "He's not the guy," and I was like, "No, he's not." And then
I thought he was a stopgap until we got Q back.
Yeah, I did too.
I think everyone thought that.
It's just super funny. Like it was one of those thoughts I had after they won and everything. I was like, oh my God. Chris and I both talked about how we were like, yeah, whatever, Berube, it's cool, but
the season's a loss anyway.
Here's the next coach, Marty McSorley.
Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, it was the team was so bad at that point.
Yeah.
And then they're like, whatever, write out the season, get Q, we'll start again next year. But
I remember us talking about we were doing a lose for Hughes for a while. We were on that train for a while.
That?
Yeah.
Yep.
Dude, Jeremy Roenick said that like on I can't remember what network he's on, but
that's why we're all sitting on Zoom right now and not in Toronto on the NHL network.
Oh, yeah.
But he said that there was a story that like he had got like Berube and him had gotten into it 9 years later when Berube's a coach. He calls him into a room, punches him in the face because he never got to get it back at him while they were on the ice. And he told him, I told you I'd get back at you. Like Roenick is telling this story. He's a coach for Philly, I think it was. And and he gets hit in the face. He said they played golf later that day. And he goes, I just wanted to let you know, I told you I was going to get you back for that cheap shot. Like, holy shit.
Awesome.
Unbelievable.
Awesome.
Sorry, I know we sidebarred there for a minute.
Oh, no,
yeah,
perfect.
No, it'll happen. That's hockey.
No. So as Bon kind of alluded to, so the Blues go out and get basically the best free agent that's out there to booster their top six, because we talked about numerous times where we kind of didn't think the top six was great without Tarasenko.
Joe Thornton. I mean, what?
Yeah. So they technically signed Mike Hoffman to a PTO. We talked about the cap maneuverability to get that to work, but he officially signed today for $4 million, which is
I'll take it.
A steal. So $4 million for 29 goals, 30 assists, and 69 games last year in Florida. Also, he has speed again. Not only do we have a shot and a one-timer, we actually have a guy with speed, and nothing against anybody on the team, but this team's not been known to be a fast team for quite some time, maybe ever.
Yeah.
So it's nice to have somebody like Krug who comes in who is a burner, and then you have Hoffman who is a burner. So Hoffman, what do we think about? I mean, Bob, we kind of got your thoughts a little bit. You can go in more to it if you want, but what do you think about adding Hoffman to his top six?
It's awesome. It makes, and I guess I only focus on one part of it because I was like, I'm only going to be excited if we get him and they put him with Thomas because he needs a setup man. And
seems that's going to be it from the lines that they've been showing. So,
and that's exactly what happened. And then I just got overboard. I was like making outlandish tweets. I'm like, you watch, mark my words. Hoffman will have over 30 goals. There's going to be, what am I going to say? Thomas, I'm going to say is going to break the 20 goal mark this year. And then his points will be in the 60s. Boom.
So what you're saying is that Mike Hoffman's offensive upside is better than Pat Maroon.
I mean, yes, but I think Pat Maroon could probably drink Bud Light better.
I would agree with that.
Don't tell Phil, Chris.
No, don't tell Phil in his boat shoes.
Anyway, so Jack, the Hoffman signing. So
yeah, I mean, I'm excited for it. I think, especially with Ryan O'Reilly being at the helm, and just the massive amount of respect that I think the league has for him. That you combine that with Chief, that these guys are really gonna and really gonna like end up turning into something, especially like with being in such close quarters and trying to make the most out of whatever this weird situation is that we're all in with COVID.
So
Goals.
We're at the point
Goals.
where Sammy Blay, who was kind of in and out of the top 6, is officially the extra forward this year. So that tells you the depth with the signing and a couple other another signing we'll talk about. So one of the concerns, according to Blues players that brought to Doug Armstrong, was they needed a kind of a, I wouldn't say like your Tony Twist type guy or your Kelly Chase type guy, but some toughness. We have our skill guys, but the guy that goes out there that's going to, let people know not to mess with our top 6. So they go out and get a 2-time Stanley Cup winner, Kyle Clifford, who technically at the end of last year at Toronto after a trade from LA. So won 2 cups in LA. We hated him when he was in LA, so we know what kind of game he brings. So last year between the 2 teams, 7 goals, 10 assists. But he's going to anchor that 4th line and go around and cause some havoc and maybe punch in some goals too. So not bad for 2 years and $2 million. So
that's awesome.
That's a value signing. And I think you're right. I think what he does is he ensures that you don't have people taking runs at a surgically repaired Vladimir Tarasenko when he comes back.
Yes.
And you don't have people taking runs at O'Reilly and Hoffman and Perron and Schwartz. So, we haven't really had that guy since Ryan Reeves.
Yep.
And you need that. We've proved that you can win without it, but it's much easier when your star players can be star players and not looking over their shoulders on, who's going to take a run at them next. And I think that's what Kyle Clifford brings to this team is a bit of protection.
Yeah. And you can cycle him out with Blay possibly too, and that could be you add a little skill for a game. Blay still throws weight around, but Clifford is just different style, let's just say.
Yes.
It's nice to just have that in the pocket, you know what I mean? Like, because now granted the game's a little different now than it used to be, to where you got some real balls if you were going to run an all-star because you were going to hear about it. But the 4th line is very different. So like now with those guys having a little bit more skill. I mean, you look at Ryan Reeves, dude. He changed his game, knowing how the NHL was going, and it was like, if I don't change and get better, I'm out of this game. And he did, and it was just fantastic because he went from like taking boxing lessons one summer in the off season to I better work on my hands because like I'm not going to get to play. So but he was still out there to where it's like, don't do anything stupid because I'm out here. Don't think I'm not. Don't think I don't see it, and don't think I won't that I'm going to forget what happened at the game before. So it's common. So that kind of presence on the ice is it's a big shift for teams, especially if they're chippy.
Even argue that like with the way the season's going to be this year, where you have a bunch of 2-game series or 3-game series, that role is going to be even more important because I think you're going to see. Someone may get hit game 1, and then you may see the retaliation in the next game. So I think being that this whole year is going to be a bunch of mini series, it's going to be more important to have someone of that caliber who can protect and take a pound of flesh when needed.
Yep. And he can score.
Yeah.
See a line brawl in a game? That hadn't happened in a while.
Oh, in a long time. Let's see. One more, and it was a re-signing, and that happened pretty close to camp. Vince Dunn, to get him under the cap at 1.875 for 1 year. He was kind of screwed with no arbitration rights, so he kind of had to take what was given to him just to get in camp. But 9 goals, 24 assists last year, played every game, 71 games. So I think he's due to, he's still the 3rd pairing guy. I think you might see him kind of cycle up with maybe Scandello move down for a little bit. And Dunn's going to be your other power play guy, which having Vince Dunn as your power play 2 quarterback is not too shabby.
Yeah, that's pretty awesome.
So, but he has arbitration rights next year, so he is going to be extremely motivated to have a good.
Yeah, it might end up being a steal this year, where he's like, I'm trying to get paid, so let's watch what I can do.
Exactly.
That's what Mike Hoffman's doing too.
Oh, you better believe it.
Next year, he's going to get himself a big old paycheck.
And I think leading into that, so good segue there, Bond. So Jordan Binnington also in a contract year.
Yep.
So I think he's very motivated. He talked about not focusing on the past and how he was in the bubble last year.
I don't think anyone wants him to focus on that.
So he wasn't great in the bubble last year, but before the bubble, I mean, people were talking about he was fine. 30 wins, all-star appearance. I mean, I would say above average numbers. I mean, not like I would say, crazy numbers, but better than what we've had in the past.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you have a guy who's in his mid-20s.
The wins. The win column is the main numbers I'm worried about.
I agree.
He gave up a lot of goals, but our team gave up a lot of goals. I don't think it was on him.
I think it was a little bit of a hangover last year, and they kind of were getting their footing to start, and I think he was the same way. And I think having a rest will really help him. So also Schwartz is in a contract year, so who knows how. So we have a lot of guys in contract years, so it might be interesting to see how that factors into things. Because normally when guys in contract years, as we've seen in the past around the league, they've turned in very well. Jeff Skinner, who
he got his
turned into a stupid contract. So
isn't Thomas in the last of his entry level?
Yes, and he's the last of his entry level. He's one of those. These all guys be UFAs. So
gotcha. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So, but except for Dunn, so he's done to be RFA, he'll have arbitration rights, so he can technically put his numbers up there and he can get a good payday compared to what he's getting done now.
I like him. I want him to stay.
Yeah, I think the left side of the defense is very well set this year, and in the future they got Peronovich, who looked pretty good. Apparently Nico Mikolo's looked very good. So plus you have Carl Gunnarsson too as your other guy. So you have
boom.
Yeah, you basically have 6 solid left defensemen to start the season. So that is all the gains that I have. So we're going to talk about what we have now. 56 game schedule. So already weird, but also so you're playing 7 teams 8 times, which is weird in itself. It's going to be very baseball style. So 2 games back to back or 2 games in 3 days. And you'll do kind of a little mini road trip. Blues might be, I think that one time they're at home for almost 3.5 weeks. They're just playing, they have a break and then they play a bunch of teams, and it's gonna be real interesting to say the least. So, and they're also in a new division, which Chris and I talked about before. So they're playing teams we're not really used to seeing, but they've done very well against these teams. They've finished above 500 against every team except for
Arizona Coyotes.
Correct. For some reason,
really.
Yeah, the last 3 seasons we were under 500 against them. Everybody else were undefeated against Vegas. So
we've never lost in regulation against Vegas.
Yeah, they've not lost in the regulation 3 seasons to Vegas so far.
Wow.
So it's the Blues, the Coyotes, the Golden Knights, the Avalanche, the Kings, the Ducks, the Minnesota Wild, and the San Jose Sharks. So anybody that's on the West Coast, we're pretty much playing. That's in the United States, obviously. So right now, a lot of the Blues are getting picked to finish top 3 for sure. Definitely a playoff berth. We'll take that.
Yeah.
So not too bad. So lineup wise, a couple of moves are made today. Let's just go over those super quick. The waivers, like we talked about earlier, everybody in NHL was on the waivers today. Apparently, some big names. Corey Perry was one of them, who was in Montreal, was just signed and already on waivers. The Blues had De La Rose, Don Gillies, Mackenzie McEachran, Curtis McKenzie, Mitch Rinke, Steve Santini, Nathan Walker, Jake Wallman, and Sam Anas. And I can make that really awful, but let's go with that for now.
I think it's a hard A.
Yeah, we'll say that one. So we'll go with that. So I expect those guys to clear. I would be surprised since a lot of teams put a lot of guys on waivers. They get some of these guys go to a taxi squad, which is about up to 6 players. Like Gillies will be the 3rd goalie for sure.
Yeah.
I expect De La Rose, McEachran, probably Wallman, because they
Jake
had
Wallman.
him up. He was up with the top unit for a while there.
Yep.
Mikola made the team, it looks like. Jordan Kyrou had 2 goals.
I love it.
Kyrou looked good. I know for you guys, maybe you guys probably don't know, but he was on my kind of like, I'm expecting Ty Ratty type things. I always get that vibe from him from a long time. Yeah. I told you, man, just the last couple of years I've been super like, I don't know, man. Maybe it's just the hype has outweighed like the usage so far.
I would agree with that.
So he looked good in the
we don't seem
scrimmage.
like we don't seem like we we do our prospects, like we give them time to develop. I don't see us putting many first year people in. It doesn't really happen that much. Like Pareko and Edmondson, right? I mean, what a rarity, I would say. So I mean, like Kyrou, I totally agree with you on that one, Jason. Like, I'm like, God, I remember how long we were like, just wait till Ty Ratty, a pure goal scored. You just wait, and then he got here, and I think he got one goal, and I think it like accidentally deflected off his leg.
Yeah,
and I was like, oh man, well that sucks. And then we moved him. Now Kyrou is supposed to be he had the same. I mean, what was he, top point scorer in the AHL a couple years ago? And
so
he's fast and everybody pure goal scorer. And I'm like, oh my God, don't you do this to me?
Yeah,
he is going to be great in Seattle next year.
I don't say.
I think if he does halfway decent, they'll protect him. So we'll see. We'll see about the Seattle draft next year. Be interesting who they lose. But yeah. So I don't know. So the lines right now are looking as we kind of alluded to earlier. So they always do pairs. It's kind of like what Hitchcock did. They always have two guys together and they kind of fill in the third guy. First one is your first line. So they're trying Robert Thomas top 6, which is not a bad thing.
Nope.
They put him with new guy Mike Hoffman. What do we think about that?
Yes.
Love it. I've already told you they're gonna have 1,000 points. I can't wait.
Hull and Oates.
All day.
I hope they're on your fantasy teams.
Yeah,
I got
Chris took Robert Thomas. He said he reached, but I thought it wasn't too big of a reach. 7th round, I thought that was all right.
I may have drafted him around the same.
Yeah, so it wasn't a bad reach, I thought. So, but so the usual is who's had success in the past: Ryan O'Reilly and David Perron. So and Jaden Schwartz will be, that will be Braden Shen is on that line.
That's a great trio.
Yep, love
and
it.
Is all about moving to the left wing. So that's another thing. I think him playing for Berube is part of that. Because I remember he wasn't a fan of it up in Philly. That's when they moved him here. And he had a really good year his first year playing center. It's weird how rich we are at center now.
Oh, my God.
Compared to a couple years ago where we were like, I remember when we signed Paul Stastny, that was like finally we have a center.
Right.
But it was kind of – so now we have overabundance of centers, and Oscar Sundquist is a center playing right wing.
I love him.
Barbashev can move in and out of center. So pretty interesting there. And then your third one is Tyler Bozak, and it looks like we'll say Jordan Kyrou because that's pretty much what it'll be there. And you have Zach Sanford on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
So that's – I mean,
I'm
you're talking about
Sanford, the third line.
Sanford, who was on top 6 last year.
No complaints.
If he can – okay, let's do this because Chris knows that this is the guy I constantly crap on. Next to Kyrou is Zach
Jason
Sanford.
Hates Tyler Bozak.
No, I do not hate Tyler Bozak. I think I'm okay with Tyler Bozak now. Hey.
He speaks highly of you.
Yeah, I know. Thanks. But no, Zach Sanford's the one I was like, it's just the inconsistency. So what do we think? Like Zach Sanford on a third line? Is that about – I think I'm more comfortable with that maybe.
Oh, I'm way more comfortable with that.
Yeah. I think he started to show his breakout potential near the end of the year. He was starting to heat up. I mean, he had, I think, all of his goals he scored in like the last 2 months of the season up until the stoppage. But I think that he's got some pretty for the fear of going into our comparison, basement here. He's like Berglund to me is what I picture because he's a large guy. It was supposed to be like so good. And then you see bits and flashes of it. And then next game, you're like, man, that was a really terrible turnover or 5 that you just had.
Yeah.
Snake bite.
Yeah. You want to hear the crazy thing?
I do.
I love Patrick Berglund, though. So
what? I'm out.
I know. Doesn't it? It doesn't make sense.
It makes no damn sense.
I know. Between that and everybody gives me crap because I love Berglund and Bear Jackman. Everybody gives me crap about
I love
too.
Jackman.
I didn't know liking Bear Jackman.
Yeah.
Staying out of the kids line, you pick the bronze medal, dude.
I know, but
Hey, he won the Calder Trophy though. He beat out Rick Nash and Henrik Zetterberg for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah.
True.
Respect the man. Love it.
You see, and I'll tell the story which I've told probably way too many times on the podcast, but I'll tell it for you guys to hear. So, one of the reasons I really like Bear Jackman is in his rookie year at the gallery, I was walking around and we were walking by. So getting a birthday present for my sister and with my mom, and this is like when I was like 18, so I'm dating myself slightly. But so we go in there, and we're in line at the gallery.
Where is there, Jason?
Again?
Where is there?
Oh, Build-A-Bear. I said Build-A-Bear.
Oh,
okay. That's right. Build-A-Bear.
100%. That's where I'm at. So five people in front of me, I see Bear Jackman getting the Build-A-Bear. So mind you, if you guys know Build-A-Bear, there's a whole like shtick they have when they do the Build-A-Bear. They fill it up and they're like, here's a heart, kiss the heart and put it in there. And so the lady is making him do this. And she is just like, and she's like, oh, what's your name? He's like, Barrett. He's like, so like, oh my God, I don't want to do this. And so I'm just like, I'm like, oh crap, that's Barrett Jackman. That's awesome. And then she's like, why don't you go get his autograph? I'm like, hell no, because we're the same age right now. I'm out of here. I just book it out of the store. So my mom like walks up to Barrett Jackman after he gets his Build-A-Bear, says, hey, my son really likes you. Can he get his autograph? She's like, oh, where's the little guy at? And she's like, oh, he's with his dad, like down the way. So I literally have it.
Little guy.
Actually up there. Actually, it says to Jason, all the best, Barrett Jackman. So
Captain Insano.
Yeah, it was literally just like that.
What are you kids? 12, 13?
Until you have a player call you a tall drink of water, it's everything else is okay.
Yeah.
Dude, if it hadn't been for my kid being there, I don't think we would have got that many players to come over because he was the little one and like Bob was just grabbing every one of them that would come over.
Yeah.
Like,
is that the Eric Brewer picture?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we're all putting the C up because we had. Man, I bought that shirt for Darren and everything. It's the best.
Oh,
I've never known a person to hate a player on their own team as much as Darren Hall hated Eric Brewer.
Dude, Ryan Johnson said that he could hear Darren booing him while they were on the ice. Like they're like,
Darren
we can hear you, dude. We can hear you. Like you're booing
that's
him.
awesome.
Remember when they used to do in the in game. Like the games and stuff, they're like, all right, give us a Let's Go Blues on 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
They're like, let's trade Brewer.
I heard that a ton of times.
I was at that game because Haas texted me and Darren about that. Did you hear that guy?
Man,
so mean.
Man.
Angela
but Eric Brewer was traded to Tampa for a draft pick. That draft pick turned into Jordan freaking Bennington.
So we're okay with that.
I'm
Everything
okay.
turned out okay.
Good job, Brewer. You're
so we'll
one of my favorites.
Thanks.
the one good thing you did is give us a pick that became Dunnington on your way out.
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll take it. We won't argue about that. So, all right, let's go with our quick predictions here. So we got eight teams in the West. Top 4 make the playoffs. So I got a list of teams again for you real quick. Be the Blues, Coyotes, Golden Knights, Avalanche, Kings, Ducks, Wild, and the Sharks. And we'll work our way around. I'll start from my viewpoint. I'll do Chris and work my way around.
I think that Colorado will take first in the West.
Or at least give me your top 4. We won't do
top 4, Colorado, St. Louis, Vegas, and Minnesota. Or Arizona. Your pick. Everyone else sucks.
It's your
correct.
pick.
Very top-heavy division, and we're okay with that. Jack, let me give you your who you think is going to finish in the top 4 for the playoffs.
Colorado Blues in Vegas. As far as that 4th one, I don't really know. I mean, I guess we can go with the Wild just because they've been, more with the Central because they've played a lot harder teams, but Vegas and Colorado have proven they're not going anywhere. So that's there. And same with the Blues. So really, as far as the last one, I guess it has to be the Wild because they've been in a better, been playing better teams for a longer time.
And then
who you left behind?
Finish it up.
Because I can't wait. I'm going to go off the deep end here. Blues, Avalanche, and Golden Knights. I think I can see Vegas taking the division and then having Colorado second, us being third, whatever. But my 4th place team, hear me out.
Okay.
The Sharks.
No.
I think the Sharks, you cannot deny they have Erik Karlsson and Brett Burns on the back end. They've got Logan Couture, Timo Meier, and they brought over Devin Dubnyk and Martin Jones they've got a 1-2 tandem in net. They've got like a solid, like very similar to like Halak and Elliott. They were just both, it was 1A, 1B kind of thing. Yeah. And I think that they had a completely crazy bad year last year because, you know, they lost. You're finding your new identity. You got Pavelski and, you know, he's gone and Thornton's gone now. So I think Logan Couture, Timo Meyer, and Tomas Hertel. I think you've got. I think that they're going to sneak in. That's my bold prediction.
That's a good.
Because honestly, the rest of them it doesn't really matter to me. Like, because realistically, if I wasn't just being a jagoff and doing that on purpose to pick the Sharks, I would say the Coyotes. It would not shock me because they did great. They've got great young players. Yeah, and they got Phil the Thrill still. Phil Kessel had a bad year last year. He will snipe this year. He will snipe again.
Yeah. So I'm going with pretty much the same as everybody else. So it's very top heavy. Your the three teams that were in the top of the West last year, the 3 teams in this division. So it's going to be quite a battle for that. And then the fourth one is going to be a battle between 5 teams. So I was going to go off the deep end too, honestly. And I thought I was going to pick somebody like LA, but then I just kind of looked at the lineup today when I was doing my prediction, and I'm like, wow, you guys are old. So
in 2 years, LA is going to be ridiculous.
They got a lot of good guys that worked their way in, and they're going to start with Quentin Byfield this year and stuff.
Well, they also Blake Lizotte, who was a monster in the World Juniors for Finland. He's going to be a stud, and they've got Turcotte coming up.
He just got hurt today, I saw. So.
Oh, did he? Oh, good riddance. Bye.
Yeah. So I'm going with Minnesota just due to they've been at least halfway decent. They've done the I'd say the Blues of the early 90s, like just get into the playoffs and we'll see what happens. We're a middle of the road team type thing before the Blues got better. They're like middle of the road every time and they'll make the playoffs, and then they might win a round, but you don't really think them as like a top contender, unfortunately. So
underestimating them.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. But they have Cam Talbot in net, so that's the thing that worries me. So, but we'll see what happens there. So that'll be our quick Blues preview, and then since you guys are here, since we'll ask some Brookroyal questions. So we talked about you had a new single that got released in December. We Wait, all over wherever you can stream stuff, pretty much from what I could see: Amazon Music, Spotify, iTunes. Everything. Go check all those out.
Give me your money.
So I try to write down some, give them all your money, please. So
help me, I'm poor.
I try my best music journalistic stuff here to write down some questions to make me sound like I know what I'm talking about.
I'm really glad that you took the lead on the music stuff, by the way.
Yes. Well, I figured you were busy enough, doing your thing there. So
not doing your actual roses.
Yeah. So
yeah.
All right. So I'll do my best to through and what I have written down. So it's all you guys formed early, and you guys were all in different bands early on. So what kind of brought you guys together initially?
We honestly, Pops, I think.
Yep.
We were all drunken judges for the local show for a long time, and we had played in shows together, and it was one of those things where we just talked about, man, wouldn't it be cool if we could just like all do a band? And I think that's pretty much how it started for the most part.
Pretty much the way I remember it.
Yeah, I mean, we were just sitting in the back of Pops, judging the shows, taking shots, and hanging with the point people. And I went to Little Rock for a little bit to do a thing there, and then started making demos there. And when I came back, it was like, okay, let's. You guys want to do this for real? And that's kind of off we went. So. It was literally probably just kind of came together because of us just being idiots. Pops was our neighborhood bar,
which none of us lived by obviously.
No, we didn't. But we were there at least every Sunday for sure. But just always with each other. So it was just like let's.
It's pretty.
We're all musicians. Let's play.
Yeah, I believe Jack came up to me and Cornbread and was just like, "Hey, we should just start a band." I was related to. It was kind of the era of like. Audio Slave and what was the my god, why am I missing the other one? The GNR STP one. Oh my god,
Velvet Revolver.
Velvet Revolver, thank you. But like I related to that, like I feel like in that time we were like, well, we should just take a bunch of our friends and be in a band. And then a free bar tab at Pops later, there were demos sent, and Jack, like he said, was living in Little Rock. We'd literally call him on the phone and be like, "Hey man, Cornbread and I are playing this song. Am I playing this part right? That this song you wrote?" And we would like be giving each other notes like over the phone, which we didn't have FaceTime. It didn't exist then. So been way easier if we had Dropbox back then. I tell you that much.
So,
yeah, there was no cloud. I'm sending it over via Hotmail just to, you know.
The cloud of Sage that filled our.
All right. Next question, like I said. So when you guys, so I'm going to fast forward from then till now with you guys. So you guys, when did you guys jump back into the studio officially to start recording? Like you had We Wait and probably some more stuff that's on its way. When did you guys start getting back in the studio?
2 years ago.
Yeah,
probably. Yeah, we had two of the worst years we've ever had. We lost our producer. He passed away. Bon had a family member pass away. Matt had a family member pass away. I had a very, very good friend pass away. We had COVID. I mean, it was just like impossible that this was going to happen, because it was the most defeating couple of years I think we've ever had, you know, and forget the fact that, you know, we're just this local band, you know, but it's just like, man, I don't know if this is going to happen. I don't know that, like, how we even have motivation to keep rolling is, you know, thank God we love the hell out of each other, because otherwise there's no way in hell this would have ever happened, because it was just, you know, if there had been any kind of riffs at all within the band, there's no way it would have happened. But we just took the 2 years and rolled with these awful punches that we kept getting hit with, and finally are able to release music 1 month at a time until we can actually play shows again. So, but believe me, that's might seem minute, but it really is a hell of an accomplishment, considering all of us went through the 2 worst years of our lives. So I'm just happy to be you know, still able to release music and still, you know, that's the reason we had stopped for a long time too, because I mean, Chris knew we got pretty beat up by the industry, and it was either going to be we're going to end up hating each other, or we're going to go for this record deal, and probably then be able to hug each other, or we can say screw this, let's stop and still be friends. And we just kind of said, you know, I think I value my friendship with these guys more than I do the end goal of signing a record deal. So, you know, and we had gone through a lot. I mean, we could have kept pushing, but it was just getting to the point where it was just beating us up. So, you know, we get back into the groove, start playing again. Then we had these awful years that happened. So, but had we not kind of made that decision to have each other's backs as opposed to being on the bus or whatever, you know, it just, you know, I think that's probably what kept us being able to not want to kill each other and be able to still write music and still love what we do. So, and still love each other. That's the big thing. Who cares? You know, I mean, we'd damn near barbecue and screw around and laugh our asses off more than we would get music done. That had a part to do with why it took so long as well. But, you know, Maddie's one of the best barbecue guys I've ever met. Davey, hey, too shabby, Bonnie, too shabby. You know, it's, you know, I think for the most part, we've probably had more barbecues and parties than we even had shows.
Yeah, we definitely get sidetracked easily around each other, which is a good thing.
Because of food.
Yeah, mostly because of food and beer.
And how much of everything that's happened over the last couple of years has made its way into the music and the new songs?
If I can say about the music first, and I'll let him talk about the lyrics, because
sure,
I mean, this is how this all went down. The music of these songs it was pretty much the end of 2018. Most of these songs were like already formed and on their way to being done. We had talked about like legit, like, hey, let's start actually tracking the stuff January, February of 2019. And my family took a hellacious blow. And then so we all took some time off. And then next thing you know, it just kind of cycled through all of us kind of thing. Mm-hmm. So it was like the end of 2019, we kind of were like, let's just hurry up and record the stuff. And so like the music was like written before like hell opened up a little mouth in the US and started spitting its game at us. And then from there, because I don't know what Jack really sings about ever.
This one was a little different, just because now with Matt Benny in the band, he's a very different writer, and like this music, typically before, I was at the helm of a lot of these riffs and the direction and the arrangement and things like that, and with this process, everybody really wrote from vocal melodies to the music to and all that. And it was more of lyric wise. I wasn't really sure because it was a little bit of a different process. So I was just like, I'm going to do what I think, and I'm very, very uncertain of it. And Bon will tell you for years, I've been like, hey man, this is total garbage, but listen to it. And they're like, no, you're an idiot. It's fine. Like, let's do that. And
True. I call him an idiot a lot.
With this, I mean, it would do. There's a lot of times that's happened, but just like lyrically, I wasn't really sure what to 100% write about, because I could have gone really deep, but I just kind of let stuff come out the way that it did. And the more when I went back and listened to it, I could tell that I was talking about way more than I thought I was. Like I thought I was just kind of writing stuff to just write to get whatever was coming out, and now going back and listening to what some of these lyrics are, it's like, holy crap, man! I'm talking about this subject or that subject and all this stuff. It's like way more than I've never not consciously done something like that before. So it's been a different process. So, but and I don't generally like to say exactly what it is that I'm singing about, because everybody relates to it differently. But for me, I kind of found a lot of things in it that it was like, man, I like half the time it's me ending up yelling at myself about a lot of stuff. So when it comes down to it, so it's just kind of weird therapy for me, I guess.
Yeah. In whole, Jack's the lead singer and I'm the guitar player with Mystique.
I'm just one of the blurry guys in the background.
I'm only the singer.
I'm one of the blurry guys. Or out of focus guys.
The chicks are great.
Just go get some barbecue.
So the chicks are great.
Obviously, 2020 was a crazy year to be a musician, with basically the entire industry, as far as the live shows, shutting down. Aside from you guys being able to get together and jam and play, just in rehearsal spaces and things like that. What's the one thing you guys are doing aside from writing that's keeping you artistically fulfilled? Because you guys don't have the ability right now to get that high of getting on stage and playing in front of a crowd.
Yeah, I play guitar a whole lot. Sometimes I just pick it up. I just walk around the house and I just strum the guitar. It just makes me feel like normal. And then I might write something here or there, but like Jack was kind of saying, like the Matt Benny, the other guitar player, is kind of like the main, kind of took over as kind of the main writer in it. So kind of makes my job easy. I'm just a rhythm guitar player. I can drink the most and play the songs the easiest.
Challenge accepted.
So do you guys have 3 guitars now in the mix?
Just 2 of us.
Just 2. Jack, are you not playing?
If we, what, we haven't even really rehearsed some of these songs. Like so.
That's true.
Oh, did we lose Jack with the freeze?
I don't know, but I love his face right now. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I might have lost him there.
That's all right. Hey, I'll take over for. What was the question, Chris?
You haven't consciously talked about it.
Hey, he's back. All that just cut out. All of it cut out.
All that cut out.
Oh,
we got about 45 seconds of you like this.
Hey.
Well, you guys were frozen too, so I didn't know.
Oh no.
Let it go.
Let it go.
Anybody? No one has kids, eh?
Okay.
I do.
All right. So let's see. Whatever. Chris, actually, believe it or not, I actually had something similar to all those questions you asked, Chris. So actually, I was on the right track. So thank you very much. So we'll just bring it back to what we use for the podcast. So for the podcast, you guys are gracious enough to let us use Bleed Blue as our opening theme. And once again, thank you guys for letting us do that. Because that's
welcome.
I'll be honest, like when I started like 6 or 7 years ago, and I reached out to, I guess, whoever's running your Facebook or Twitter at the time, whoever I was on.
Probably.
It'd have been one of us, yeah.
So I reached out and I was just like, hey, I'm like this guy just starting a blues podcast. It'd be really cool if I could use this song because I really dig it. It's like awesome. And can I use it and not give you guys anything for it? So
we're used to that too.
Hey,
Yeah.
do you remember when we came to your house and talked about it, that you were the only person that ever actually asked us to use
Yeah,
that song
because as
of
that
all
you're
the
supposed to
people?
do when somebody makes like
Wait,
art and stuff like that,
KMOX
you're supposed
took
to
it,
actually ask somebody
Y98
to use
took
it.
I
it.
was
They
going to say
all took it.
KMOX didn't
Yeah.
ask.
Nobody
ESPN
asked
uses
us
it.
anything.
Really?
Nobody
Yeah.
ever asked us. You guys were the only one that ever asked us for permission to use the song. And
the
of course
Blues
we don't
did.
care, but the Blues, yeah, they paid us
No-
for
no
the
big
licensing
deal.
thing. But
No big deal.
we also had to threaten to sue Fox Sports or whatever to get our licensing rights. But
Did
That
you
did.
really?
nonetheless,
Yeah.
it was horrible. It was miserable for like $500. Like, come on, man. Like,
Yeah.
but no, everybody else that did it just took the damn song. Like,
Yeah.
nobody
Yeah.
even asked us.
No,
And we don't
yeah,
care.
so like I
But I
said,
mean, I think that's why they did it, because they knew we were super fans, and it wasn't just like a marketing play. We're just massive fans of the Blues. Like,
yeah,
you know,
and that
I
kind of
think
led
guys
to
factored in.
that kind of I was gonna say is, so when you guys were kind of developing that song, is it more you guys are just super obviously like just super fans of the Blues and want to kind of like do like a blues type song, or did you feel like did you go into like I want to write a blues anthem song, and so like just for some, or just find something cool to play?
It was going to be given away for free. We had already had it written. We played at a game against San Jose. Shut out.
Yeah.
What's up? And
Awkward
and
experience.
it
by
was
the way.
very weird. Yeah.
That's going to be weird to play at the arena.
I'll be
Well,
honest with you, Chris. It was not fun. No one
Yeah, I
cared.
couldn't imagine.
Was
No,
that
they
was
didn't.
in the suite when you guys were in like a suite type setup,
We were in like this back area up top where
like
Like
the
the
Pepsi
Pepsi
Plaza or
Pavilion,
whatever
or
type
whatever.
of
yeah,
place?
something
Yeah.
like that. We were close to where the Oregon was, kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but,
it's
like, on
close
the
to where
other side.
Patrico is now, or
Yeah,
what?
yeah.
Yeah.
I think it might
I think that's
actually
like
be in the same
Pepsi
spot.
Pavilion or whatever.
Yeah. Up
We did
there.
that. Like, it was very weird because
Did you guys even have monitors?
No, the
No.
PA was coming through the
Oh.
thing, so it was like slap back, and so it was just like using like muscle memory, like for me and my voice to be like, okay, this is here,
Yep.
and all that stuff, and it was okay. I mean, it really just was just more like for the people at the game, it was probably like,
Sure.
fuck. But on TV we're jumping around and all that stuff. We almost broke the stage on the first thing because it wasn't like bolted together, and the first
Yeah.
thing
Oh,
we do
that's
is
nice.
jump and it
Yeah.
slides, and we're like, oh my god, and one of the writers for San Jose was tweeting at us and just said, live music doesn't work unless you're in Nashville. I'm looking at you, Brookroyal. And so I immediately chirped back at him. I was like, writing about games doesn't work when you're shut out. I'm looking at you, San Jose writer, whatever the hell his name was. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Was it the dude who went after Bennington?
No, because I think that guy was in Winnipeg.
Oh,
no,
you're right.
sorry.
You're right. You're right.
Was it
He was
vice versa?
from San Jose, but he was in Winnipeg.
That's what it was. Got it. Sorry.
yeah, and so anyway, so we were getting ready to release the song just for free, just because we were fans of the Blues, like to the point
Right.
Scotty was yelling at us because I was posting so much and interacting with fans during Blues games and Twitter and Facebook and all this stuff, that he's like, you got to start talking about more music content. I'm like, man, who cares, dude? We're fine. And so we were getting ready to release this song on our own. And then we played that show, and was it McGathy?
No.
Or McCarthy? Who?
Mike McCarthy.
Mike McCarthy. He was talking to Darren Hall the next day, and he said, hey, we should have the boys do a playoff run song. Darren already had the song, and he's like, here you go. What do you think? And
Yeah.
he goes, awesome, record it. And so
Yeah.
we're like, sweet. So we got paid to record it.
Yeah. Well,
That's how that happened. Otherwise, it would have been gone up for free.
I don't know if you know the detail of this, Jack, but I had sent the song to our friend Darren, who was working at the Blues and stuff at the time, and he said that he was listening to it, and Mike McCarthy had walked in, and I had just texted Darren, be like, "Hey, will you tell Mike next time you see him, thanks for having us." Like, dude, as a diehard Blues fan, our whole lives, like,
Right.
that's pretty dope. And
Sure.
then he said what Jack said. Mike's like, "Hey." He's like, that's awesome, man. I'm glad that they got to do it. Like, hey, tell them to write us a playoff song. And Darren was like, actually, they just sent me a song they were going to do for the Blues, and like literally played for him in the office, and goes, tell them to record it. And then, I mean, the next day, I think we were rehearsing it to make sure that we knew what we were doing, went in the studio, and it was on Fox Sports Midwest like 3 weeks later.
Mike could not have been a nicer person to us too. He was so cool. Like, especially, we're all dressed like looking like hipster bikers and stuff, and and he's just so like, oh, your boys are so polite and all this stuff, and we're like, yes sir, because we're, we knew who he was. Like, I was as excited to meet him as I would have been any player. So it was just and Vaughn was actually back there with him after the game at some point, weren't you?
Nice.
Was that talking to Mike McCarthy?
With Darren, yeah, and Freeze.
He came up to the they put us in the suite.
Oh, that's what it was
or something.
Yeah.
And then he came in and I met him and I was like, yeah, I know who you are. Sorry, I'm a big fan of the team that you are employed by.
Yeah, we're gonna try not to fanboy from you.
Yeah.
Did the team come to you at all last year when they were talking about redoing the goal song, or was it like, all right, we have Brookroyal song for this and an Urge song for that? Because I think it's cool that they've used both of you guys and embraced different local bands in different aspects of the team.
Dude, it's awesome. First of all, it's awesome just as being a lifer in St. Louis local band guy to be like us and the Urge are the bands that have songs for the blues. Like, how dope is that?
What? like that doesn't happen.
You know what I mean? Like, but no one ever came to us about that song or anything like that because we couldn't write anything as cool as what the Urge did, because that song's perfect. Like a minute and a half of just perfect.
Yeah,
I think they're both like work in their own way to be like pump up songs, and I think what they did worked perfect, and I think like your guys worked perfect for.
You guys have a phenomenal like warm up song.
Yeah, like that's like when you come through the tunnel, like that's like the song that you would hear and get the crowd pumped ready for the game, the players pumped ready for the game, and everything. Like I said, it's just too. Like I said, I've always been a fan of it. Always will. Always will be on the iPad. Like, it's just,
appreciate that. Like when it comes to the Urge, and obviously, the Urge is who they are. But like if you know the Jost family, and Jerry Jost, their father is
royalty.
Big reason high school hockey and youth hockey and everything was successful in St. Louis. 100% it was Jerry Jost pop. And the African Americans would not have been what they were without him. The Junior Blues would not have been what they were without him. So like for Jerry to get to be a part of something like that, like his dad would have been ecstatic to see something like that. And that just means so much for the Jost family. Like anybody that doesn't understand, like, Jerry Jost is in the Urge and just phenomenal, probably one of the best guitar players, if not the best guitar player in St. Louis. But for as far as what he did for hockey in St. Louis, like that family is ultimate. So it's so cool to see that element get put together too. So there's a lot of teams that would not exist without the Joes, that's for sure.
So we'll wrap it up. I did like a bunch of quick hit questions for both Jack and Bond, so we'll go back and forth. We'll do Jack and Bond as you go back and forth like that. So first question, favorite blue growing up?
Jeff Brown.
Nice.
Good.
That's how old I am.
Are we doing different eras? Like
whatever I'll do all encompassing. I'm doing up until the next question is current blue, so we'll just say growing up. So I said,
well, I had like the two eras. I was a big Shanahan.
This interview's over.
Sorry. Shanahan and Pavel Dimitra.
Yeah.
They're always my two like favorite players growing up. Anyway, sorry, go ahead.
Favorite current Chris and Shake said. Favorite current blue.
You love Craig Janney is your favorite player. Craig
Janney is a friend of the show, so we can't disparage. We're not going to disparage Craig Janney.
That's
you guys
fine.
Better.
I love him.
Where's Harold Snaps?
So, favorite current blue.
Favorite current blue. I guess right now I got to go with Bennington, just because it's been so nice to see a goalie that like this is. We always talked about this. This team is good. Are they not playing in front of a certain goalie? And it's no disrespect to the goalies that they had before, but it's just, man, I don't know. That kid, whatever he was doing, it was working. So I have not bought a jersey with a name on it in a very long time, and I bought a Bennington jersey because I'm definitely on team. I'm on team Bennington for sure. And I've bought jerseys, but I don't ever put any names on it because
I like that too.
Can potentially be a curse. So but I don't know. I guess currently that would be who it is.
Mine would be Mr. O Riley. Reason being, I have been following this dude since Colorado. I always had him on my fantasy team as like like he's always a sleeper. He always made me money on FanDuel and all that stuff. So they moved him to Buffalo. I was like, oh, that's cool, man. Like I still put him on my FanDuel and DraftKings and stuff. And then once I found out that they were going to get him, I called my friend at the Blues and I said, hey, whatever number O'Reilly gets, I want it on my jersey immediately. And I looked it up. Actually, I looked it up yesterday because I was trying to prove a point of how much of a fan I'm of O'Reilly. It was 4 days after we got him, and he was like, I'm going to be number 90. Boom, purchased. I was the first person to ever have one in St. Louis. I don't care what anybody else says. I win.
Not
O'Reilly
his
is awesome. Nope, there's no chance. I had it before his kid and everything.
The Bond discount strikes again.
Man, whatever, man. Dude, whatever, man. He's a perfect leader. He's a perfect two-way player. He's awesome. He's not overly flashy. He's defensively responsible, and he makes me happy because he wins trophies.
And he dries his gloves in between every single shift.
Plus, he drinks Guinness and
throw him to the trainer. And
he plays guitar. He just seems like, we should probably be friends.
We got to get him a new hat, though.
A party with you.
I want to party with you. I can live with his hat choices. I don't care.
He looks a little too Amish.
Yeah, but he's Canadian. He's a good-looking Canadian guy. He listens to City and Color.
Yeah. Very Canadian hat. We said that before. Favorite Blues memory or story?
Go ahead, Jack.
Personally, for me, and it's kind of selfish, but having been a musician and a fan of the Blues for so long, getting to be a part of the playoff commercial things and the song or the playoffs was just like completely unheard of for me as a fourth grader or a third grader, that like, hey, I'm going to write music one day that's going to be for the Blues, and this is going to end up getting you to be pretty good friends with some of these guys and things like that. Like that was part of it. But when I heard it in Busch Stadium at the Winter Classic, I was like, dude, I might cry right now. Like because they would use our song for the highlights after the first period, and I'm looking at my brother-in-law and I'm like, I can't believe I'm alive to see this. Like this is like our band is being played in Busch Stadium at a hockey game. Like that really just happened. And then we beat the Blackhawks, and the guy next to us had to leave because everybody's making fun of him. So it was just like a win all day. Like
that's a win-win.
It was great because he was talking some smack that earlier. As soon as Tarasenko scored that goal, he shut up and left. The whole section is just waving at that dude because he was chirping the whole time.
That poor guy. Poor Blackhawks fans. I have a hard time with this question. I'm glad I didn't go first, but it didn't make it any easier. It's like when you ask to order last and everybody finishes real fast. I'm like, oh crap, I got to order. The Cup is too much of a gimme. It's too great of a moment in my life. I didn't know that I'd ever get to see it, but I hate to wheeze Jack's juice here. Hope I don't ever say that again. Phrasing.
Juice.
But like, yeah, getting to go to those first couple of games against San Jose in 2012, where they were like, they invited us, we all had tickets, and like hearing them come down the tunnel with the organ and stuff, and then our song started, I was like, what life is this? Mm-hmm. But then again, you know what? See, I'm already thinking of like 5 other games that are like my favorites. Like
that's a hard one to pin down.
Tarasenko's first game.
Oh God, I remember. I was in LA for that.
I was there. I watched the dude score his first 2 goals. I was like, oh my God, we're gods. We're never going to lose again. And then, and Vladdy's, it was against the Blackhawks in the playoffs when Vladdy scored with like 4 seconds left to tie it. I was sitting right behind the net whenever, like on that end. So I saw it go in, freaking out. I picked up some lady next to me. We were jumping up and down. And then Jackman scores, your boy. Scores in OT. I was like, I'm going to go Vladdy's first NHL game. I'll do that. I know I just listed like 10 different ones.
Oh, it's I can do the same thing. There's so many.
Yeah, can I give an honorable mention though?
Sure.
So we were lucky enough to play at Scott Trade Center like for a show.
Oh yeah.
in 2009 for the
Ho-Ho
Points Ho-Ho show. And so we were talking about it beforehand. We're like, dude, wouldn't it be awesome if we got the crowd to say Red Wings suck? But we're never going to have this opportunity to probably be in here again. It's like, all right, do we have the balls to do this? We got to the final intro to the very last song, I think it was, and it was like, all right, let's just do it and see. And
we didn't know this was happening. This is all going on in Jack's head, by the way. We didn't know he was going to do it.
And so it was just like, so it was like, all right, we're huge fans of the St. Louis Blues. On the count of three, we want everybody not to say "Let's go Blues" because that's just a gimme. We're true fans. We want you to sit there and say "Red Wings suck." And so, fortunately, the guy that was running lights worked for Papa Roach and knew me. He was running our lights doing the thing. He lit up the whole house and the whole place yells "Red Wings sucks." And I'm like, yo, it's over. Like, I can't believe that just happened. Like, and it was because of that. We ended up being pretty tight friends with some of the Blues players because they were just like, did you hear that first band? Just had the whole crowd say "Red Wings
suck." That's awesome.
That turned into that was a weird night.
It was definitely weird.
Fun night.
Oshie and Berglund show up with Sutton and Youngblood shirts on that they made themselves, and
yeah,
oh, man, it was.
Yeah. I remember walking into a room with Cam, and Cam had Berglund by the shirt trying to teach him how to fight, and then and Oshie and Chris Mason were there, and we ended up partying with them, and it was just like, I'm like, I shouldn't be this excited to hang out with someone that's like 10 years younger than me, but I was. That's my Barrett Jackman there, Jason.
Oh, I'll take it. I'll take it.
That's an honorable mention. So I'm sorry, Chris. Go ahead.
All right. So I went to some music questions now. So for Brookroyal, your favorite song to play live?
Jack, you gotta go first. Lead singer. Taking too long. I'll do
probably Motives. I like the opening song just because I'm so pumped and ready to go that we use that song as an opener to be like, we'll do our huddle before we go on, and it's just like the same talk of everybody do their thing, be safe, try not to hit anybody while you're jumping around and being stupid, and let's just come at the crowd. If they don't get into it, we're just going to keep going until they go, and that was always the one that kind of set the bar. And then my second favorite would be the last song, because then I'd be over it and then my anxiety would go away. I'm just being honest.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I would say probably, I don't know, probably There Was a Time. It's just awesome to, like, when we play it, it's like, I don't even think about it. Like, it plays, but it's also just cool. Like, that was the first song that we ever got on the radio, and that was like our big break. And to see people like listen to it and actually like care enough to learn lyrics to a song that I assure you Jack Weesey wrote in his underwear several years earlier. It's a cool thing. I don't know. It's dope whenever people like, I don't know, when someone knows your song, you're like, that's tight.
Yeah, it's definitely a weird feeling.
Where were you the first time you heard your song on the radio?
In the car.
For Brookroyal?
Yeah.
The first time I was ever played for Brookroyal, I guess, yeah, we probably would have been in the car. First time I was ever played in the radio in St. Louis was you, Hoss.
That's right.
It was a song called Saw from a band called The Fifth Element.
We had you guys in the studio.
On the local show.
Yep.
Didn't you guys cuss on air?
Well, later after that. The first time we were not in the studio, but or at least I don't think we were, unless we were recorded earlier. But the second time, yeah, I think he shut off the mics because we were
a couple times.
Degenerates.
That's all right, man. I mean, there was a couple of times Cooksey fell asleep in the air and it was just dead air. So
that's all right.
Chris had to turn around and go back to the station.
Favorite venue you guys ever played in?
Pops.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say Machine Shop. I know that's what you want to say, but
I was waiting for it. I'm like, there's only one.
St. Louis is Pops for sure.
Yeah, Pops is always home base. With all due, because I used to work at Pops. Like, I love Pops. They know they're number one. The pageant needs to get their due respect because that venue is just unreal. Yeah, the everything, the amenities and the staff and everybody there is awesome. But that being said, you can't compete with Pops.
Coolest
So,
out of town venue we ever did was Bridgestone Arena, just because it was a hockey arena and we got to play there, and there's all the Predators crap everywhere. And
I had my Blues flag on my amp. Someone did a beer was definitely thrown at us.
Yes,
and Jack fell in it, and Jack slipped in the beer.
I did. And it's like, who cares? All these labels are watching me just eat crap right on the ground.
Didn't matter.
It was cool. With that whole tour, we mostly played secondary markets, so we got to see like the Syracuse Crush.
Yeah, Binghamton Senators.
It was all these.
It was all the
minor league team,
AHL.
Evansville Icemen, which is one of the greatest minor league stadiums I've ever seen. Like, I mean, it was the new Ford Center. It was cost more than the whole city of Evansville. But I mean, we're all loving that stuff because let's go look at the Zamboni.
Yeah, we're like, can I ride the Zamboni? They're like, yeah, go ahead. I was like, sweet.
Awesome. I have my 2 more questions I'll do. So, what is either the favorite band or I guess or even if you say guitarist, singer, member of a band that kind of got you into music or made you want to be a musician?
Oh. Jack, you go first.
Probably Chino from the Deftones and the Deftones as a whole. There was a lot of I liked Green Day and stuff back in the day and all that, and but when I kind of saw the Deftones and heard their music and all that, it was just like, all right, well, they got me now. My dad said they always thought I was on drugs because I just didn't care about anything else once I had a guitar and had listened to that music, because it was true. That's all I cared about. I just woodshed it and said it. You think I'd be a better guitar player?
Yeah, I think mine was around that same era, the new metal era, the Korn, Limp Bizkit, Stained, Deftones era. That was like, I just wanted to get on a stage and headbang like did it and play like 2 inches off the ground and not think about how bad it's going to hurt my back in my mid-30s.
Turn the gain all the way up and just
all of it, scoop the mids,
tonality.
Play a crate, dime buckers.
Got so much scream in this.
Going to shows and stuff, growing up listening to that kind of music, like going to like Pops, Mississippi Nights and Point Fest and stuff like that out at Riverport, like it was like, oh god, I just called it Riverport. Yeah,
we're always going to be Riverport.
Who doesn't call it Riverport?
Yeah,
I don't even know what the hell it's called now.
But you know what I mean? Like, to think about, I'm like, dude, if I got on that stage, I could just go up there and throw down, and then as I got older, I was like, oh man, being angry is dumb. I like to play the guitar, and so I listened to Thrice, and that's pretty much in City and Color. And that's pretty much it anymore.
Nice.
Chris, you got anything else to add before I get my final question?
I think you've done a good job.
Oh, that's it. I figured I'd do a very St. Louis question to wrap it up. So a very St. Louis question would be, what's everybody ask? Where did you guys go to high school?
I actually went to high school in St. Louis. I went to DeSmet.
DeSmet?
Yeah, joke's on you guys. I'm from Illinois.
So there.
This like
jokes on you guys. I didn't go to high school.
Yeah, jokes on you guys. I just worked at the steel mill. No, I'm from Granite City. I went to school in Granite City, so I went to Granite City High School, but that was like not a thing. Like even over in Illinois, like being as close as we are to St. Louis, when people started asking me, when I started joining bands playing in St. Louis, they asked what high school I went to. I was like, I'm from Granite City. They're like, yeah, what high school did you go to? I'm like, the only one there. What are you talking about? To this day, I only know where 3 St. Louis high schools are, and I can only name 2 of them because I don't. Rittner, and
because the story.
Yeah, well, I used to live by that. And then Chaminade's on Limburg.
Yeah,
that one, and then a third one that's by me now, off of Central School Road, out in like St. Charles, St. Peter's area.
Sure.
Whatever that is.
Howell Central.
That sure.
That would be
I didn't know you were out here now.
Are you out here too?
Dude, I'm in St. Peter's.
Well, I'll text you where I live off of this podcast.
All right. Fair enough.
That's a good idea.
But yeah, I guarantee you I'm not very far from you.
No, you're not, if we're talking about Central School Road.
Yeah, I'm right off of the extension.
All right.
Yeah. I'll text you.
It doesn't exist anymore, so there we go. Yeah. So that'd be nice.
So there we go.
Where did you guys go to high school, huh?
Aquinas Mercy High School.
Nerds.
If anybody's getting nerds, it's probably me for I
got recruited by DeSmet. I just didn't go.
Yeah. I recruited by nobody. I went to the school that was my backyard, so we'll leave it there. So,
yeah, I went to the ones that was the only one available.
Yeah. Oh, we're good there. So I'll wrap up with all my questions in our Blues preview. So just to recap for Brookroyal. So newest single is "We Wait." It just released recently. So you said are you gonna release like a song a month? Or are you guys gonna kind of wait till things kind of start to ramp back up before we start hearing some more new music?
I think that we originally planned on releasing a new song a month, and then we're over a month now. So we got some things in the shadows. We're getting ready to do a video. I didn't mean for that to be a story reference. My bad. But yeah, we're doing a music video with Jordan Phoenix for one of the songs here in a few weeks, and then we got 3 ready to go. Pretty much, we're gonna do something creative with each one of them. So,
awesome.
Over
Try
the
to
next
stretch
few
it out
months,
as long as we can.
Yeah,
until hopefully there's potentially some way that we might be able to play, because playing to 10% capacity is something we've done when this wasn't a thing. So we don't want to do that again. We've worked really hard to be able to fill a room. So if we, not that I don't want to relive the glory days of only playing at 10% in the house, but
those are called out of town shows.
We'll probably just wait. Yeah, no shit.
Yeah. So we got so like I said, we wait to do a single. Hopefully we'll hear some new stuff soon. You can find all the whole Brookroyal catalog on iTunes, Spotify, Amazon Music, wherever you can find your music. So we'll leave it right there. So if you want to get a hold of us on the podcast, it's at Blues Hockey NHL. Chris is at
Hossapalooza.
And Brookroyal is at Brookroyal. And if you guys want to share your Twitters, you're more than welcome to.
Yeah, mine's at J Bonathan. I'm only on Instagram and Twitter. So if you see me on Facebook, it's fake news.
Yeah.
Hold on, I gotta look and see what mine is.
And then you guys are, but Brookroyal also is on all platforms, to my knowledge, where I see Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, and just at Brookroyal on all 3.
Yeah, we're still in your top 4 on MySpace, and our OnlyFans page comes out next week.
Oh man, see, we released ours last month, so nice.
2 weeks after.
OnlyFans and TikTok. That's what the kids
are not on
these
TikTok.
days.
We're not. So we're working.
You know
on
what?
That one.
I think our song is actually on TikTok.
Really?
Nice.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I just saw it on when we did distribution stuff. I saw it on there, and I was like, "Oh God, no one will ever use this. It's so great."
No, we'll have somebody use it. Well, tell somebody to tag you in it, and somebody who listens to this, we want them to use a Brookroyal song on TikTok and make up a dance.
Well, yeah, dude, Lil Nas X just hit me up. Just text me, and
there you go.
Gonna blow up.
Let's see. And before we go, we'll just mention it. So our friend Will Pelly out at Rockstar Taco Shack.
What up?
Out in Newtown is currently closed for the season, but the one out by Chris and Bon apparently. So to go out there at the Diamond Music Hall and get you some tacos. So they're open I believe Tuesday through Sunday. So
much love to Chef Will. I love that guy.
That's right off the auto road at Cave Springs, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that one is still open through obviously with being cold outside. They shut down the Newtown one for the season. So I'll be back open in the summertime, so hit up both locations. Once again, both Jack and Bon from Brookroyal, thank you guys for doing this. I know it went a lot longer than probably we expected, but
I told you we talk a lot.
I know, but like I said, I appreciate the time, and like I said, once again, I appreciate using the song. It does mean a lot to me and stuff like starting off and just not really knowing me the music.
Get together and have beers again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Here's visual confirmation. It's cool, dude.
I know, but it's just cool. And I appreciate it, and I'll be honest, being a big fan. So I'm looking forward to when you guys are playing live again, and I will be there 100%. So
you're on the list. Don't worry about it.
No, I want to know. See, I'm the one who I'm very much I appreciate what you guys do. I will gladly buy a ticket.
I'm glad someone appreciates it.
Yeah, and I will. And once you guys have a show scheduled, we will be definitely giving away tickets here on the show. So
sweet, 2023, here it comes.
Yeah, eventually, whenever.
Wait for it.
So hopefully, by next hockey season, you never know. So we'll see, depending when they ramp things back up. Hopefully
After
before
Blues
then.
win the cup. After the Blues win the cup.
Yeah, let's plan on that. Let's just say right after
Again.
Blues win the cup, we'll have you guys on the main stage with drunk Brett Hall again. So
100% would do that all
Oh
day.
my god.
all right. Well, thanks guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you guys. I hope you
I
feel
almost
better,
forgot
Chris.
about the main thing. Where to find the podcast would be a very good thing to do about listening to this podcast. I know, skipped ahead. I'm too excited. I can't help it. So find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Amazon Music's the newest one we are officially on now. Let's see. We said OnlyFans already. Grindr is still taken down right now.
Yeah.
We're
STL
suspended.
Punk.
Yeah.
STL Punk.
And once again, MySpace, check that out too.
Oh, look at that.
And Jack is showing us the last couple of seconds of and the Blues win the cup.
Oh my god, we did it, guys.
We did it again.
We landed on the moon.
We landed on the moon. Perfect.
We're
Awesome.
on the moon. Dude,
All
that
right.
couldn't have-
Well, thanks guys, and we'll see everybody next time.
Gonna take